Today, I wanted to share a story, a real life story, which any small business or a small hotel general manager, owner would want to hear, and the kind of things they can do to ensure they are always in business. Picture this: you are the owner and the general manager of a small boutique hotel, and you have three people supporting you to run the operations. And you obviously do not have a monthly budget of $2,000 for marketing your property. So, what can you do in terms of marketing? The short answer is you don't need to do anything that much. All you need to do is you let your customers do the marketing for you. Let me explain what I am trying to say over here. I'll share a real story about a client of mine. I'm trying to not reveal his name, so that's why I'm calling him Turnaround Tony. You'll understand why I'm calling him Turnaround Tony in a while. This is an independent property based out of in America, in a place called Anaheim. And when this general manager took over the property, he was having an average rating of 2.8 in TripAdvisor, similar ratings on Google Business Page, and other places. Basically, the property was ravished with bad reviews, bad customer experience, and that was showing on the books in terms of business. They weren't getting much guests coming over to their property. This was back in 2018. So when the new general manager came over, he understood if he has to turn things around, there's one thing which he wants to concentrate the most on, that is customer experience. That's what he figured his strategy would be for his turnaround. He started coaching his associates the best practices of hospitality management. Basically, in short, he wanted each and everyone who was associated with the property to know what customer experience is and how to deliver the perfect customer experience. His motive was any particular client or a guest comes to the property should be, after they check out, become a fan of the property, of the people who are running the property. This was the simple thought with which he started his journey as a general manager of this small 80-room property. Remember, I told you he took over in 2018. So when COVID hit, he had to make some hard calls. Does he let go of his associates? Because there was no business during COVID. And this is where I call him Turnaround Tony, played his best game plan. During COVID, he did not let go of any of his quote unquote staff. He thought and he believed each of his associates were primary and key components to ensure superior customer experience. And that is why he convinced the owners to not let go of any of the associates which were there pre COVID. This essentially meant that all the people who were associated with the property pre COVID, when they did not lose their jobs, they understood the value this person, Turnaround Tony, brings in from an ethical perspective. From that moment onwards, they started trusting their lives on this person called Turnaround Tony. Tony sat with his associates and discussed various ways in which customer experiences can get better. Only if a customer felt really happy during their stay at this property would they go ahead and post a review, a good review. They would go and talk about this property and their overall trip to their friends and family in a good light, which is what Tony, Turnaround Tony, and his associates wanted to capitalize on. He didn't think of any masterful strategy to try and turn around the fortunes of this property. He stuck to the basics, the basic being just deliver a superior customer experience, which no other property in that locality is trying to do. Eventually, by 2023, this property, which was rated one of the worst properties in their local area, was ranked as one of the best properties to stay at in their local area on TripAdvisor. Let that sink in a little. This turnaround did not happen because of a quote unquote strategy. This turnaround basically happened because the general manager, the owner, the associates, all of them believed that the only way a hotel is to be run is by delivering guest experiences that can be unmatched. His relentless focus on delivering superior guest experiences ensured guests who come are leaving with a feeling that they want to come back again. And when they come to that locality, they would want to stay at that particular property. Guests were giving great reviews. These reviews were ultimately getting propagated on the different OTA channels, Google Business Page, TripAdvisor, and this property slowly got to be one of the best properties in Anaheim. That is the locality in which the particular property is based in, across different platforms. After more than 5 years of relentless service, he finally turned his property's fortune around. But his work was not finished. He wanted to go a step further. He wanted to give back to the community, which helped him and his associates turn around the fortune of this property. In 2024, he decided to put aside some money which can be utilized for the education of the associates' children. Understand this. This is not what we see in just any general manager's thought. Why put aside some money for the education of quote unquote employees? But that is what he did. Not only that, he also started promoting the other local businesses which were there in and around his property. How do I know so much about Turnaround Tony? I worked with him for 1.5 years. And I got to know so much about leadership from him that I don't think any business school, any book can ever deliver that powerful a leadership strategy. In fact, if you ask me, he should be invited to all hospitality management schools to teach what hospitality is. That is how his leadership style was. And he is still leading that property with the same mindset. And I feel I've been lucky enough to work with him for some time. So the question comes, what can we learn from the legendary Turnaround Tony? Number one, word of mouth marketing is the most powerful form of marketing. Coaching your associates to be empathetic towards your customers is very important as a leader. Thirdly, patience is the key. If I go back to his story from 2018 till 2023, these were 5 years. Everyone associated with that property had to keep patience. Only then they could see this strategy get some results. I will not give you any knowledge as to how you want to run your property. You know how best you should be running your property and provide superior guest experiences. I can share some tips which I have learned from Turnaround Tony so that you, when you are doing your operations, when you are trying to deliver that perfect guest experiences, you can also apply the same in your operation strategy. Number one, analyze which channel is having the most amount of negative reviews. By channel, I mean figure out if the most amount of negative review is on Expedia, or is it on booking.com, or maybe it is on Google Business Page, or maybe it is on TripAdvisor. The first step is to analyze where you have the most amount of negative reviews. Once you've understood and identified which is the channel or the platform which has the most amount of negative reviews, you want to ensure while you're delivering those superior guest experiences, asking those guests who feel that yes, I had a lovely time at your property, ask those guests to provide a 5-star review in that channel which was having the most amount of negative reviews. While asking for reviews, make the review asking process as frictionless as possible. What do I mean by that? Don't just ask a guest that, hey, log on to TripAdvisor and find our property, then give a review. Instead, try and figure out if you can share a quick and easy link which one can click and they'll end up where they should be providing the reviews directly. That way, you are making the review giving process for the customer little easier. As a next step, always ensure you respond to a positive review. Normally, we don't see owners or general managers responding to positive reviews. That's not what you should do. You should actually go ahead and respond to positive reviews also. On the other hand, if by any chance, even with the best efforts, a customer feels that they expected something more and provided a negative review, go ahead, read that review properly. Try and understand why the customer felt the need to give a negative review. Respond to that customer, and while you analyze that review, figure out which are the ways that will ensure you do not get a second negative review from any other customer. So, analyzing that negative review is very important. After you've got a flurry of positive reviews on the platform which was having absolutely crazy bad reviews, you should see your review rating climb a little more towards the positive side. At that point of time, you can concentrate on other platforms so that overall across these different platforms you have a average rating of good reviews, because you never know from where a customer is coming to your property. And even if you know, it is good that you want to position yourself as a property which has positive reviews across the board. As a rule of thumb, if you see a negative review on any platform, try to get the next 10 to 20 positive reviews on that platform before you move on to another platform. The platform on which you are wanting to get a review is completely in your hand, because you are to share a easy link to a guest. So when you are sharing that link, you can always decide which is the platform link you are sharing. So by any chance, if you get a negative review on one platform, try and get another 10 to 20 positive reviews on that platform. That way, the platform can also understand, the algorithms can also understand that the negative review was a one off thing, and that's not normal. Sometimes, even if you send a review link to any past guest, it's not that easy to get a review. The guest may need one or two follow ups. When you are doing such a follow up, be empathetic about that follow up. Share a personalized message, or maybe if you have a picture with the guest while they were having fun at your property, in and around your property, share a personalized message saying something on the lines like, hope you had a great experience. It means a world to us if you can leave a positive review on any of the channels that you are comfortable in. Would it be okay to get a review? So be empathetic about it, be subtle about it, and absolutely personalize the message that you are sending over as follow ups when you're wanting to get these reviews. The other important aspect which I feel I learned from Tony is something called a loyalty rate. Basically, if a particular customer which had come to stay with your property and left a positive review, try and understand if you can identify this particular person or the customer when they are booking as a repeat business. Give them a loyalty rate. By loyalty rate, I mean give them a special rate for which they are booking your property. And lastly, highlight those reviews that you got on your website. Not that people are coming to your website to check out the reviews. Reviews are 80% checked out at these different platforms, TripAdvisor, Expedia, Booking, or there are thousands of other platforms. But if you've got some good reviews, it's better to highlight them on your website. Reason being, you can wrap those reviews in a different schema which can be picked up by different search engines. Just to close things off, as an independent hotels owner or general manager, even if you don't have a lot of marketing dollars, remember this: delivering superior guest experiences does not require a lot of marketing dollars. And that is what drives people to give good reviews about your property, become fan for your property, and they will go and talk to their friends and family about their property as to how your property made them feel extra special. That's a visibility that you cannot earn by spending even millions of dollars. That's something which you only earn by spending your effort. So put that effort in delivering great customer experiences, you will start seeing positive trend on your business. As a side note, I wanted to share this idea. I don't know if this works out or not. I have a weird idea which I want to share with the community, and I can only understand the effectiveness and the feasibility of it if some small boutique hotel owner, general manager, or even for that matter, you know, basically someone has to try it out to understand if this is working or not. I have this weird idea. Let me know if you're willing to experiment a little. If you're okay, then I'll share that idea separately with you on an email or something like that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.